Welcome, race fans. Racing is back in 2025, well and truly. Time to do our first big review of the year, the Daytona 500. The race that kicks off the NASCAR Cup Series schedule. Pretty good race, all things said and done. Unfortunately, we had to deal with the rain delay. Seems like every year nowadays we're dealing with a massive rain delay at Daytona. I don't know. Maybe we just move it back to nighttime for the race start, since it seems like we're always running it at night anyway. I don't know what to do about this. We just seem to always have a rain delay. However, once the race actually started going after the rain delay, it was a pretty good race. Probably one of the better races in recent years. Cars ran well. Lots of cars ran really well. Joey Logano has to give a shout out here. Probably one of the better cars I have seen in recent years at Daytona. Unfortunately makes a bit of an ill-advised move towards the end of the race, trying to squeeze down into a hole that possibly wasn't there. I do have to, although, say he did seem to back out of it. When you listen to the in-car radio, he backed out of it at least twice, probably three times, to try to fit in there. But unfortunately for him, Ricky Stenhouse just wasn't giving him room. Took out a lot of front runners in that accident. Took out himself, took out Ricky Stenhouse, took out Ryan Blaney, among others. Unfortunately, that is par for the course for Daytona. We get back going. Cars are running really well up front. Denny Hamlin running strongly up front. The front runners end up wrecking, and through the chaos on the last lap, William Byron and Tyler Reddick make it through. Unfortunately for Tyler Reddick, who does have a good run on William Byron at that point, makes slight contact with Denny Hamlin, kind of takes him out of the running for having a chance to get by William Byron, and Byron wins the race. There's going to be a lot of people saying it was a lucky win, and it was a bit of a lucky win. However, Daytona these days, luck plays a big factor into it. It's all about putting your car up front at the right place at the right time. And William Byron and Tyler Reddick were the two who did that, and William Byron is the one who comes out unscathed. William Byron wins the second Daytona 500 in a row for him. Honestly, a really good race start to finish. I hate to see a race end the way it did. I really don't like that wrecking at the end of the race. There are some negatives, obviously, to talk about here. One, the massive amount of wrecking that always happens at these tracks is an issue that I don't particularly like. I know that a lot of fans do like the pack racing. I would prefer to open up these cars and just let them go. Let them get spread out more. It takes away the big chaos at the end of these races that we typically see. I would also like to give a shout out to Ryan Preece. Man, oh man, the guy just does not have luck at these tracks, particularly at Daytona. He goes upside down for the second time in 3 years at Daytona. Poor guy just can't catch a break. I will say also on that, as a lot of drivers and teams and fans have pointed out, with this car, the underbody of the car is completely flat, meaning once the car gets up, as it did with Ryan Preece, he went up over another car, air caught underneath it, and that's all it takes to flip these bad boys these days. IndyCar had a similar problem. I will say, as a big IndyCar fan, I recognize this problem back in 2015, where we had a big solid underbody to the car. Cars were taking off, particularly when they got backwards. They would roll. Any air underneath it at all would lift it up. IndyCar's solution was to drill two massive holes in the bottom of the car, so that when it did lift up, the air would have some place to go and kind of bring down the car quicker. Maybe NASCAR looks into a solution like this. Maybe we look into some non-vital parts of that underbody and get some big holes there to let the air through. Maybe would prevent these flips. I don't know. I'm not an engineer. That's just looking back at the history of IndyCar as well as the history of NASCAR, what could be the solution. However, I digress. It's a good race. It's a good way to kick off the season. Congratulations to William Byron for 2 in a row. Pretty hard to do these days. Congrats to William Byron. I will see you again next week when we cover the second race of the season in Atlanta, and we get ready for IndyCar in 2 weeks in St. Pete. Stay tuned for that.